Well, baby, we're back once again, and we actually have a stream that is working right now. Yes, it only took me forcing everyone in this household off of the fucking Wi-Fi and then directly connecting to the Wi-Fi router. And now, indeed, I have actually 20 megabits per second upload speed. Amazing, fucking amazing what money can buy you. Anyways, new internet coming tomorrow. I'm going to be long cocks, and we're going to be having cocks all deep-throated in our throats, and it's going to be really, really good. I'm very excited about that, and that should bring the fiber most importantly, and then we can turn this baby up to fucking 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, just all the way to 100, I guess. Anyways, many things to talk about today as Bitcoin has played out, at least a short-term rally that we were speaking about to the 55 EMA on the 12-hour time frame that was playing out that bullish divergence there. We got complainers in the background as well. I see them over there, but we need to force them out, as Elsa has valiantly said. GM, super chats get priority. Spammers and complainers will be bonked, indeed, yes. But I already see the community taking care of it because that's why we have a very loved community. I see now the community is self-healing. Yes, we've had a lot of interesting folks come in during a very interesting time, you know, some of my own mistakes, to be honest, you know, associating with these sort of communities, these sort of peoples. But now the community is healing, and I love it, man. I fucking love it, because when things get quiet, when things slow down a little bit, that is when this actually becomes a lot more fun, because you get the true fucking nerds, which are my people. Anyways, I want to give a massive shout out to Nick from Lifetime, who I met yesterday. It's actually really cool. Anytime I go to a Lifetime gym, someone recognizes me. No one recognizes me at fucking EOS or the YMCA or LA Fitness. Also a good sign, I think. Also a good sign. I've loved everyone who I've met at what is it called? Lifetime Fitness. Yeah, man, great one. Fucking great gym over here where we're currently living, and really enjoy meeting people there as well. It's always perfect, man. Anyways, I want to call out a few people here. What's up, Mr. Space Nectar, Biff the Bull, Ice PP? I see you over there, man. I feel like it's been a long time, man. Hopefully all is well, and good to see you back, brother. Goofy Dude, Sky Junkie for Life, Wayne Batson. This is what I'm talking about, man. All of the OGs come back during these times. It's just that time. I don't know what it is, but the downside market brings that back in people. But don't get me wrong here. Don't get it twisted. There will be ebbs and flows. You know, I do think Bitcoin will actually rally higher at some point, but in the short term, it's ebbs and flows, and we just had an ebb. I think it's time for a bit of a flow action, and then perhaps a bigger ebb a little bit later, probably beginning next week, if I had to guess, based off of timing. We'll get in that a little bit later in this video. Some people very, very mad that I've been bearish on alts. Fair enough. I'm going to continue to be bearish on alts, because when I see a shitty chart, I'm going to be bearish on it. It is what it is, man. If you're coming here to hear a fucking altcoin cheerleader like, give me an A, give me an L, give me a T, leave. Just leave. Like, what the fuck? There's plenty of other channels out there in the world who will every fucking day without any shred of shame tell you this is the last time that we will ever see alts go down, because today is when the up-only rally starts. And yes, that is correct, dear sir, who is listening from parts unknown in the world. Your $10 will be turned into, not even traded for, not even converted, not even, you know, like strategically planned investment, but it will be turned into $1 million. Yes, indeed, with my fucking Dr. Evil finger in my mouth too. Yeah, man, there's plenty of channels out there who tell you that. I'm not going to do that, because one, most shitcoins go to shitcoin heaven, which is basically down only, and Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin actually does go up every once in a while. Well, it goes up a lot more than every once in a while. But of course, you know, as the market has flipped around a little bit here, the higher term time frame bias is going to be governed by a lot of the major things that we have been looking at. Anyways, Elsa's saying, uh-oh, in the background, what's going on over there? I agree. If the chart looks like shit, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Exactly, man. Exactly. Look, and that, I get it. Like, when people generally gravitate towards content that makes them feel good. And what makes people feel good? What makes the average person feel good? Well, of course, it's being told that you, dear sir, are going to be rewarded for diamond handsing very valiantly, very courageously to all-time highs. What are you angry about over there? What's going on? Oh, your internet doesn't work. All right, well, fuck it. I can figure it out over here. It's pretty slow right now anyway, so that is all good. Lifetime is a vibe. It is actually a vibe. Honestly, I wasn't so sure about, you know, the whole, I guess, what's the word that I'm looking for? The words are not coming to me recently. It's very, very annoying. I wonder what's wrong. But the... Yeah, shout out to Elsa's trainer, who looks like her. She really wanted to shout her out too. I'm sure she's listening right now. What's up, Mr. Peter Underwood? Good to see you, man. If not shit, why shit shaped? Yeah, man. Exactly. I mean, fuck. How many times can you see a shitty altcoin chart, which is literally 99% of them, and not just throw up your hands and be like, dude, really, you really think that this is gonna just flip around and go to all-time highs and go even higher than that and make you rich as fuck? I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, it's feeding into the delusions, the absolute delusion of some people, and it's not helping them. It's just making them feel good. Making someone feel good does not necessarily help them. You know, what helps them is, well, probably seeing a therapist in many cases. But I don't know. At that point, it's not that's not my fucking job, man. That's not my fucking job. On this channel, my job is to give my unfiltered opinion on whatever I see. I might very well be wrong. That does happen for sure. It's naturally going to happen. It's embedded in the probabilities of things. However, I will always give my unadulterated opinion on things, and I don't have any sponsors, don't have any fucking, you know, this or that, you know, that people always call out. These sort of things, I don't, you know, we don't need to do on this channel. So at least we can stay consistent with that. Anyways, it's going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Getting all the super chats here. Elsa's trying to get them in the background. I think actually I can see most of them, but our internet is absolute dog shit right now, unfortunately. So yeah, man, it is what it is. I mean, you can try turning your Wi-Fi on, but if it starts to fuck up the stream, then I think we have to turn it off. It's just going to be one more day, though. By the way, speaking of one more day, and now that I recognize it's actually on the screen right now, the code is blacked20, and you can get 20% off of any one of the programs or services in the Teachable link in the description below. That runs until Friday, this Friday, and then it goes away for forever until the next sale, or also just next year as well. Anyways, I saw some interesting questions earlier. I actually wanted to get to them right before we go into some Bitcoins or even some traditional markets. And by the way, I want to say a massive thank you for the feedback on the traditional market video on Sunday. I'm looking to continue doing that series, and it's good to see that there's some good response to it. I understand it's not as popular, but that's okay because, again, for myself, I actually do need to do my own homework for traditional markets as a new week opens up, so I figure I might as well share it as well. Anyways, yes, I saw a question right here. I always love talking about options. I know that a lot of people aren't super interested, but Johnny J sent in a super chat quite early. He said, how would you play, I'm guessing this is Netflix options on the monthly if you're trading this currently? Let's see, what's it? NFL. Yes, there we go. Okay, wow. Yeah, something's gone wrong with my brain, I think. How would I be trading options here? Okay, so let's go to the monthly. You know, this is obviously a swing high. I think generally, you're going to see a little bit of down. You're going to see some more downside here. We can kind of run with an assumption that at some point it will get down to about 95, not 95 to 96 bucks based off of that yellow 21 EMA. And I imagine there's probably some bearish divergence here. Indeed, there is. So that is a general area of interest to me. So I don't really look at this current move to the downside as fulfilled until we see a minimum test down there. It can bounce, obviously, but that brings into question, one, the time frame of this, because that's going to help us set up options for this. And then two, you know, we're kind of late to the trade here to sell calls on the upside because, I mean, at this point, you know, it's already come down, what, like 40%? Let's double check on that. Maybe a little bit less than that. Sorry, way less than that, about 24% actually. But yeah, I wouldn't be selling it exactly at this moment. So again, the question is, how would you play Netflix options on the monthly if you're trading this currently? So let's actually go and see what the premiums look like right now. Let me bring up my options. There we go. Boom. And bring this baby out over here too. Okay, and let's go through, okay, not Bitcoin. There we go. Okay, that was a little bit strange. I'm like, what the fuck? I already have positions here? This doesn't make sense. But yeah, anyways, let's blow this up a little bit more. All right, so you're turning it on? Okay, all right. I'm going to keep an eye on the stream just to make sure that it's not super fucked. But yeah, okay. So where's this thing trading exactly? 103.42. I generally, do I want to be long a put spread right here? I don't mind being long a put spread, but I'd really want to sell the call spread on any sort of an upside spike. So I think, honestly, man, if you are trading this, I think you missed the easy portion of this trade. If I had to set up a trade right here, I'm not so sure that this is going to work incredibly well because it would have been better to take this about 3 months ago. But if what I would have ideally done is I would have been long or do I just need to Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, now we actually got positions on there. I would have been long. Can you actually see that? Yes, you can see that. I'd be long the 100 strike puts here. Volatility is rather low, so, and I'd probably put these at the end of December, maybe even early January, because it's going to start to collapse fast. Let's go to early January. I'm going to go January 9th on this one. Let's long 10 of those, and then I would sell against that. I would sell the same expiration, but I would sell the $90 strike. I'd short these guys probably 15 times and cover some of that cost, because I am a little bit worried, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit worried that this move is mostly done already. Is there a chance of this thing coming all the way down to about 81, 82 bucks? Yeah, there is, but I'm sure that there's going to be a bounce before that. So kind of what I'd be looking at here and what I really want to position for, sir. Again, you're forcing the gun on my head to say, take a position right here. This is not ideal, but this is what I would do if I had to. However, what I'd ideally wait for, because we missed the big trade over here on the actual confirmation of a reversal. That was in October, a little bit after the all-time high, is I'd want to see a bounce here, boom, come back up, maybe somewhere around 110, 115 region. Then that's when I have a good trade. That's when I have the 115 to 125 call spread, and I would sell that. And I would sell that in the same sort of 2 to 3 manner that I did right here, 10 versus 15, or you could do, 2 versus 3, something like that, man. But as of right here, this is not the best place, in my opinion, to be taking a position. I want to be taking positions on the peripheries. That's when I like to play these sort of spread moves. Other than that, man, I probably wouldn't fuck with it as of the current moment. I would want to let this one evolve, because we missed the easy trade there. If, again, that is, where you're kind of putting the gun to my head and say, hey, do the trade, like make a trade. That's what I would do. It's not ideal, though. It's certainly not ideal in this particular instance. Anyways, I see... There's actually some complainers. Yeah, I do see Giles DeBosch as well. I just realized it's a rather large super chat, so let's just quickly knock this one out. He says, hello, sir. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you as well, man. And still okay in your marriage. Are things going well, Elsa? All right, she wants a divorce, so it's over. We made it more than a month, so that was good. First 6 months are the best. Sorry to say, what comes next? Not so great. Fair enough, man. We still got some time then, I guess. Can you take a look at XRP on the 4-hour daily share amount? Just confirm my analysis. All right, let's see. Last we looked at it, it was around 180. That was like a long-term target, and we were expecting a bounce from that number, and we are getting a bounce from that number. This is where man. This is kind of my problem with Bitcoin right here. It's like at some point, I do think you are going to get a bounce higher. At some point, I do think you will see XRP back around 240 to 250-ish region. The question is, does it come back down and revisit these lows first and then bounce, or does it just go from here? I'm a little bit more inclined to say it probably does go from here, but I don't feel super confident on that. What I feel a lot more confident in stating is that not lower than 180, before visiting somewhere around like 240 to 250-ish region. But overall, I'm not like a tremendously big fan of this chart long term. But yeah, I do think this one, just like Bitcoin, will have another leg up at some point in December, probably beginning next week, if I had to guess. And for XRP, I'd look at like a highly probable area of about 240 to $2.50. That's kind of where we're looking for on XRP. If I'm looking at 4-hour time frame, things change around a little bit. Of course, there's a little bit of hidden bearish divergence on this current local high. So if you do get a pullback, maybe back down to like $2 or $2.10, that's fine, but I'm not sure if that's super relevant to you. What I really be highlighting is, of course, this local low right here, because as soon as you lose this local low at $2, I would be looking for an official retest at 179 to 180-ish region, and then probably another bounce attempt there, and then that move would likely play out. But yeah, this, in the short term, it is a little more difficult for me. I'm slightly more inclined to say that things are going to bounce from here. We'll explain a little bit later why with Bitcoin, but first let's actually go check out traditional markets. What are traditional markets doing at the moment? Because I actually haven't even seen myself. 25,500, yes. The traditional market, bull market continues, as it always fucking does, doesn't it? We were looking at on Sunday's traditional market video, hidden bullish evidence on the weekly time frame. That was confirmed, and up and away we'd still go. So I am bullish on NASDAQ futures as long as you're above last week's low. of 24,333. Below there are some issues for sure, but until that happens, it's I mean, this is still an uptrend. This is a beautiful correction down to the yellow 21 EMA, and for NASDAQ, this was a an almost 10% correction right there. So for me, I did buy this. I actually did buy some stonks for long-term holds. Again, these are long-term holds. Whenever I play the stock market, I'm talking about holding these things for at least 5 years, and in my case, it's typically around 10 years is kind of what I have earmarked as when I'll start to consider selling a little bit. Not even all of it all at once, obviously. But yeah, man, as far as this goes, I'm still bullish on this. I have no reason to be bearish on this as long as we're above last week's low. Below last week's low, yeah, there are problems. But until then, just let the trend be your friend. Let the momentum signals kind of guide you on those higher lows. And overall, this is coming in on low volatility. So I look at this still, pretty healthy and pretty much par for the course. Same shit on SPY futures. This one didn't have as great of a correction, but it did have the same signals here, hidden bullish evidence on that last local low and low volatility. So I do look at this as more likely to continue, probably seeing a retest of all-time highs. I think this month. I actually do think that happens this month. Monthly time frame, again, as long as this one's above about 67.30 basically, I'm more or less bullish. Below there on a higher term time frame closure, that's when I start to call into question what's going on. And I assume that that's around last week's low. Yeah, about 66.32 if you want to be super exact. So as long as you're above, above there, just generally bullish here. Again, another beautiful correction down to that yellow 21 EMA. I'm sure people are looking at this as a herp and derp or a head and shoulders. I guess it could be, but I'm going to, I'm going to assume that one is going to fail, just based off of these signals over here. It's just not what I'd expect to see on a herp and derp. And generally, if you are going to play a pattern like that, the right shoulder is going to be lower than the left shoulder. Almost always, that's going to be true if that pattern is going to play out. And as you can see here, the right shoulder is already significantly higher than where that left shoulder would have been. So I look at that as not relevant. And the people who are looking for that to play out are, on the wrong side of this trade right now. Again, if it comes back below last week's low, I changed my opinion on that for sure. But as of right now, man, all good in the hood in that regard. Let's go check out gold as well, just seeing what gold is doing. And gold actually looks in the short term kind of like traditional markets. And in the long term, it looks like Bitcoin, just straight fucking up. Yeah, overall gold, I mean, very, very surprising to me here too. I was looking for a top at 4,200 on this test over here in middle of November. With gold reapproaching that number and already trading above it, I have to call into question the likelihood of a more prolonged consolidation here. I think I might be very much wrong on this. Let's see what the daily looks like. Daily, have to look at this one as a breakout if it starts to close above 4,250. It's gotten up there a couple times, hasn't necessarily closed above just yet, but if it does, I would be calling this a breakout to new all-time highs. And then I'd have to capitulate on being right on this one. But until then, I think it still might play out as a range play. I'm not bearish on this. Don't get this twisted, but coming back down to the range low would be fine, which is about 38.50, 38.80ish region, somewhere around, 38.90 actually. 38.80 to 38.90, just to clarify on those numbers. IBIT, as I do think that this is becoming more and more relevant as time goes on. I mean, do I want to trust the price action pivot here? It is pretty much right in alignment with the yellow 21 EMA. I guess if IBIT can reclaim that, which is $53 almost, I would be looking for a move towards about 58. Again, I do think Bitcoin's going to get a similar move to that, and that's going to be somewhere around like 97 to 98 to 99, maybe even 100. I think that's very possible here, but that is kind of where I'd be expecting on a lower high if this thing is going to, actually have like a major downside move, later on, probably early Q1 of this coming year. I don't think Bitcoin's going to really be going lower in December. I think that ship has sailed. Again, the deeper that we get into this month, the less and less likely that is, because Decembers typically see the low of the month very early within the month, especially if it's a positive closing month, which a lot remains to be seen in that regard. But, you're looking within like less than a week, we're talking about 3 or 4 days, and quite literally right now we're on day number 3 of December. If you call back to the statistics video from last week. Anyways, I need to deep throat some of this water as well. Oh, that's very, very nice. That is very nice. We're all still in Chop City. I mean, Bitcoin did just come down 35%. Like, that is a trendy move. I personally wouldn't consider that chop, but maybe you're talking about very lower term timeframes, in which case I'd kind of agree. You know, you got a range here, or let's actually go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin spot, that is. You know, you got a range here, basically the highs of today and also last week, and then the lows of basically the last week of November. You know, that is the range as of right now. I do think though that this will break to the upside of that range at some point. But the question to me would be, does it come down first? We are getting some pullback signals, you know, no doubt about that. There is some bearish divergence here. It's a 4-hour time frame. This isn't like a fucking death signal or nothing like that. But yeah, you know, maybe good enough for a pullback. Does CME have the same signal? No, it does not. So perhaps that is a bit of a consolidation prize right there. But the lower term timeframes, I don't have a super strong opinion on as of right now, because the strong opinions have already played out. The strong opinion was on a move up to the 12-hour 55 EMA, the green moving average right there, based off of the regular bullish divergence that we saw of multiple drives variety on the last few lows. So that move's already occurred. Whenever I see the obvious move play out, you know, it's very, very seductive to try to, you know, immediately get on the next move and immediately, you know, open another position. But, you know, honestly, man, that's not the game, in my opinion. The game is to just figure out where your edge is and hyper specialize in taking the trades that align with that, and not trying to play every goddamn fucking ebb and flow in this market. It very well might, you know, pull back a little bit here. That's fine. But because I don't have super strong opinions on it, I'm not going to make any sort of like, you know, major analysis on it. My strong opinion is, however, that Bitcoin at some point in December will trade higher than the current high of this rally. At some point, it very likely will get up to the deep 90s. I do think, you know, 97, 98, 99, maybe even 100 is very much possible here. But let's actually go through some Bitcoin price action analysis, perhaps. I just got an email that my Cox installation is tomorrow. Fuck yeah. We're transing it up right now. Beautiful. Exactly what I need. Exactly what I want. And here we go. Okay, so starting off as always with some daily price action statistics, we can see Wednesday is slightly in favor of positive closures versus negative closures since the bull market began in 2023, that is. I actually do think that today probably will close green, but most importantly, we're interested in the average percent gain on a positive closing Wednesday, which is about 2.5%. Bitcoin's already tested the top side of that number. That was 93,664, and Bitcoin has sold off from it. So yet another example of a scalpable trade whenever you come into these average returns regions. So again, this one's, you know, a bit of a bigger winner than I would typically expect for these sort of moves. As I like to say, whenever you're taking these, or whenever I'm looking at these as a scalp, I generally don't want to be getting too greedy with them, because sometimes they do get run over. Yes, sometimes, you know, it's multi-$1,000 moves in your, you know, in your favor, but sometimes it's also in your face. So in my opinion, what I typically see is about $300 to $500 on average as a high probability move that you can scalp off of these. And if Bitcoin does come down to the bottom side of the average, the average loss for a Wednesday, that would be a price point of about 89,800. So if you do see a tick down around there today, I would be looking for an intraday bounce. Again, you massively have to understand that, and I'm probably speaking to the lobotomized fucking morons, because I'm sure most people understand this, but I will repeat yet again. Look, if you are using this as a scalping tool, just like the price action pivots indicator, they do offer amazing edges, but they are for intra-bar trades. These are not hold for fucking ever trades. They're not even hold for more than a 1 bar trade. These are intra-bar trades that typically happen very quickly, you know, depending upon the time frame. And obviously here on the daily, you know, you really expect these pullbacks to be playing out within a few hours, you know, maybe at most half of a day, but realistically these should happen kind of bang quick. And if it doesn't, then you're probably on the wrong side of it. Same thing with price action pivots. It's that initial reaction that you're looking for. And these, again, are not home run trades. These are singles. These are bunts. These are things that you want to add up over time that, yes, do definitely add up over time. But I would strongly suggest that if you do intend to use this as a scalping tool, don't get fucking greedy with it, and be realistic and study the past moves, because it's all there for you. You can see all of these, you know, with scalpable trades whenever it comes into these average returns. Sometimes you don't see it on the chart because, you know, price closes above or below those ranges, but obviously intraday you can go back and see them yourself. And from there you can perhaps create a strategy around it. But yeah, anyways, moving on from there, let's get into the next thing. Like we kind of already went over, but I still have it in my notes. The 12-hour regular bullish divergence has already played out. The target was the 55 EMA. That was about 94,000 almost, or just a shade below it. Bitcoin's already hit that, so I look at that as fulfilled, and we wait for the next thing. If you're on the lower term timeframes here, then I would just more or less be looking at this as, I guess I already kind of have it in there, but a range. Bottom side of the range is obviously the lows of this week, connected with the lows of November at about about $80,500, and then the short-term range high is kind of where we're at right now, governed by the 55 EMA on the 12-hour time frame. And then if Bitcoin does break out, yeah, I'm looking for a move into this blue box territory here. Like I said, 97, 98, 99, maybe even 100, somewhere around there. I'll explain why in a moment. Why I think things do very, 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 very likely trade higher at some point in December. And we'll speak about the timing of it. And it's based off of a similar setup that we've seen many times on this channel. In fact, we saw one recently be getting the prior bounce from $80,500. And now we're having it over here on the 5-day time frame. So this is going to be a setup between the HPDR and the BBWP indicator. So whenever price trades very far away from the median on the HPDR indicator, which you see right here, this is the median that my cursor is currently on, which is all the way at about $115,000, by the way. So that's going to come down naturally. But whenever price gets very far away from there, and when I say very far away, I mean below the 61.8 level of historic returns range. So it could be the upside or the downside. In this case, it's the downside, obviously. In fact, this one got all the way down to the 77.6% of historic returns range lows, which is kind of crazy. I mean, we haven't really seen that since 2022. Maybe that's a sign in and of itself. But when that happens, then we go ahead and reference the volatility indicator represented by the BBWP over here and wait for that to go into a contraction phase from a very high volatile level. So in this case, it got all the way up to almost more than 95 percentile, which is very high. So any red action over here, that's probably good enough. When it starts to contract from there, meaning that it starts to go down, at that point, we can start to look at the median as a likely target for whatever rally that Bitcoin is going to have. Not for this exact period. Again, I repeat for the lobotomized fucking idiots out there in the world who might be drooling over themselves as of this moment, who hopefully will just unsubscribe from this channel. But I repeat for you one more time, and everyone else who's very lovely. It is not a same bar move. It's just a general target that until it is met, I do not expect any closures below the current low of this move until that portion is fulfilled. That means Bitcoin could theoretically come close, or even it could wick below the November low and then just close above the November low and then play out that bounce, or it might just, go straight from here. I don't know. I don't know which way that it occurs. I just know that I don't expect any closures below this November low of 80,619 before a return to the median. The median will naturally come down on each and every passing 5-day closure. The next one's coming in about 3 days and 8 hours. So it's going to come down significantly, I imagine, over the next few. I imagine if I'm just guesstimating here, it's going to be somewhere around 99 to $100,000. Maybe at that point, that's when Bitcoin does test it, at which point that would still be a lower high for Bitcoin, unfortunately, and that would, fulfill that condition. And then, we go back to the drawing board and say, hey, if Bitcoin wants to continue to the downside and, this is early Q1 of 2026, this timing, could start to make sense because all of the higher term time frame issues that we spoke about in prior videos, they're still present, unfortunately. Again, I say this as someone who, holds Bitcoin and actually does, after being orange pilled for the last couple of years, is actually believing in Bitcoin long term, as an actual viable asset that does have a real value outside of just, being, cool and going up. But more importantly, there's a lot of reasons why Bitcoin is actually an important asset. It fulfills the role of an actual wealth management tool incredibly well in a way that I think is maybe better than gold, although gold right now is still the gold standard, to use a bad pun, but yeah, it is still the gold standard. But I think Bitcoin does have more potential long term. Anyways, so yes, that setup is there. Again, the way that I look at this setup is not Bitcoin has to go up immediately right now to 115. I highly doubt that that's going to happen. It is just that I don't expect any closures below the current low before rallying up and fulfilling a test at minimum to that median, which is very naturally going to come down, I imagine. When Bitcoin does test that median, I can tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here to my options board and I'm going to sell that call spread that I was talking about earlier on a different video. Let's go over here. I'm going to sell that call spread that I was talking about earlier, and I'll probably sell like the 105 versus 110 strike, something like that. But for right now, I still have my short puts spread right here. Still short the $80,000 put spread. This one expires in December 26th. As long as Bitcoin is above $80,000 or especially above $78,000, I'm going to be making money on this. And if Bitcoin's above $80,000, I make $29,300 on this one. Again, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about and you want to learn more, you can check out the free playlist on YouTube about Options 101. It's not going to be anything super crazy, but it's just an intro to options. It's free. I think that it gets most people about to where they want to be. So, that will at least give you a basic education there. Anyways, yeah, so there is that. Of course, we also have the old moons about to fire off. The moons are getting ready to fire off over here. That is coming in on Friday, so just a couple more days until then. So that might begin or be the sort of catalyst, perhaps, in timing this sort of move. So that's kind of what I say. Let's call it between December 5th all the way up to December 19th. That sort of 2-week spread there. If we're going to see that the retest of the meeting on the HPDR and that setup play out, I think that's probably a good time for that to be playing out, to be honest with you. And then, of course, when we go over here to our stochastic momentum chart, CME is actually seeing upside momentum it's been upside for a while now, but now it's continuing to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 86,222. The 2-day time frame is also crossing the upside as well and continuing and actually about to reclaim the critical zone, which, it's been living under since basically all of November almost. And the 3-day time frame is about to have a fresh cross the upside if Bitcoin can remain above 84,200 in the next 2-day period. And then that might even bleed into the 5-day period, which is currently pivoted at $94,000. It might not necessarily cross up on this current one, but the next one, I imagine that the pivot comes down significantly, and then you get that cross the upside. And at that point, I do think that, you do get that move. So fair enough. Giles DeBosch says, by the way, just want to say I love your indicators, but the HPass and the price action pivots are top. I love the scalps and I'm killing it. Look, if you're the scalping type, yeah, those are just, honestly, they really are money. And while I really do appreciate this feedback, man, I've heard this more than a few times now, and I'm really, really happy to see that because I do understand, a lot of people love that quick scalping style. This is what I did, for a lot of my career, a lot of the early portion of my career. It's a completely valid way to be trading. You can make a lot of money that way. However, again, it takes a very specific personality type because a lot of people get fucked up doing it this way. And I just want to really acknowledge this point because while you are having success and many other people are having success as well, I do see a lot of people fuck it up because they don't understand that these are meant to be very, 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 very quick. You can't be holding these for too long. You will get fucked doing that. But yeah, man, thank you massively for that feedback, Giles. And yeah, man, Caretaker's the man with the historical price action statistics indicator. But actually, you know who created the price action pivots indicator? Mr. Bear Nutrition himself, man. Mr. Bear Nutrition himself. Both of them, though, you can pretty much get. With the HPass, you can get those setups pretty much every day. You're going to get at least one. If you don't get one in a day, usually you'll get it the next day. So you almost get one every day, sometimes even two in a day. Both sides get hit, right? Price action pivots, though, you can get many in a day because you can use this in all different time frames. It plays out that same way. If I go here to the hourly, you might even already see one. Yeah, you can see this one playing off over here. That's actually quite a nice one, to be fair. But yeah, you can go to all different time frames. You can go down to fucking 5 minute if you want. But again, if you play the 5 minute, you're going to get 5 minute results. You can't be hitting home runs there. Anyways, yes, we spoke about that. Again, lower term time frames. I'm just looking at an ebb and a flow here. I really don't have a strong bias as to whether Bitcoin pulls back first and then bounces or whether it just goes straight up from here. I really don't know. I guess if Bitcoin did see the daily red 5 EMA cross the upside of the yellow 21 EMA, which they're not right now, but they're pretty close. It could happen. But if that were to happen, then yes, I would look for that rally up to about 98 or 99,000 bucks. I would look at that as an actionable sort of thing, just as like a general sort of target for that move. Other than that, I feel that it's important to continue to repeat that all of the higher term time frame is still unchanged. While I do think that Bitcoin bounces here and probably reconnects with the red 5 EMA on the monthly at some point in December, there are a lot of long-term issues. Multiple drives of bearish divergence on the monthly time frame. That is how all prior bull cycles have ended, by the way. Even the quarterly has it, I believe, as well. Yeah, it has 1, 2, 3 drives, like not fucking good. And the easy target for that is all the way down at about 60,000 bucks. That is a big fucking issue in my opinion. On top of that, we see the monthly stochastic momentum also that are continuing to the downside. We obviously see the quarterly about to cross the downside as well below 106. And then, of course, when we go over here to our McDonald's indicator, the monthly MACD has crossed the downside for the first time in this whole cycle. And anytime we've seen that cross the downside, the cycle's already been over, usually by a few months. So I just wanted to repeat these things because while I do think that Bitcoin has a greater bounce here at some point in December, probably playing out a bit of a Santa rally, you have to understand, or at least it's not that you have to understand, I have to remind myself that, all these higher term time frames things are still there. And so I personally don't want to be getting carried away. I understand that for some people, especially that Peter fucking Maps moron earlier, do not understand the bifurcation between different time frames, and unfortunately will get lost in that whole thread of analysis and just be like, what did you just talk about downside, man? Fuck you, Crown. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, bro. I need Bitcoin to go up right now. You better start cheerleading. Give me a B, give me a T, give me a C, and give me a fucking BBC down my throat as well, you motherfucker. Peter, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Don't do it. As Elsa says, don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyways, that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Sorry, I want to even apologize. I would like to even apologize to that guy too, just because just having fun, man. At the end of the day, look, I apologize if it really offends you that sometimes I'm bearish. Look, it is what it is, man. Sometimes there's a time to be bullish, there's a time to be bearish. Can't always be bullish, can't always be bearish, man. Anyways, yes, one more reminder that the Black Friday sale or the Cyber Monday sale is over on Friday in just a couple days here. The code is blacked in all capitals, and then the number 20, blacked 20, in other words, blacked all capitals, and then 20, and then you can get 20% off of any one of the programs or services in the link description below for Teachable. Let's actually check in on the quantum wave bands. Do I have them on my board here? What have they been doing? I really hope that they closed that trade from yesterday. That was a pretty epic trade. Let's see. It opened at 86, I remember. Let's see where it's at now. It's somewhere around here. Let's wait for it to load. Loading. Let's do it, baby. Let's fucking do it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm rubbing it. Wait, what? Hey, wait, what? Yeah, it's still open, actually. Oh, Jesus, man. So open at 86,100. Prices, holy shit. More than $6,000 above that number right now, almost close to $7,000. Again, look, it's up to you to play it as you want to play it, but yeah, that is there. Jesus Christ, man. Again, even this thing, you can get 20% off, and you even get a 7-day free trial as pretty much any indicator that we do offer. Other than that, yeah, let's get into some shitcoin analysis. Let's look at some of these massively bullish shitcoins, right? Elsa, were you actually able to get the super chats, or should I try to get them myself? Okay, you did. Okay. All right. Elsa did actually get all of them, so nice. So you're on the Wi-Fi right now? Okay. All right. Well, it seems like it's fine. So let's. Yeah, there's no issues right now. It's all good. Great White Hype says MicroStrategy on the 4-hour daily and weekly. Sure. Let's see. Actually, I just had a really interesting conversation with someone from the community via email about MicroStrategy. He was pointing out that the higher ups at MicroStrategy actually started to admit that there is a price point at which they would be a forced seller. It is a pretty, in my opinion, unlikely scenario, but it is, it is real. Anyways, for MicroStrategy, does it come down to this 140 level first and then bounce, just bounce from here? I still don't have super strong opinions on this. But I also don't think it matters that much. Whether it bottoms out at 155 or 140, it's close enough. I mean, this is a move that's basically been straight down since July, at 450. So we've already seen the majority of this move happen. It's probably gonna take some time to base here, but I would be looking for a big bounce from this number. And when I say big bounce, I mean a weekly bounce. I'm talking 220 to 240 to 250 region. That's a big fucking move for this thing. We were bearish on MicroStrategy for a long time, especially since this lower high right here at 360. But I think now is the time to be switching around and saying, hey, it's time we've been seeing some ebbs. Now it's time for a bit of some flow action. You're also coming off the green 55 EMA on the monthly. Again, this is a bouncy region, man. I don't think it's super wise to try to squeeze out another, $10, $15 downside. Even though you might get it, you very well might get it, but this is a bounce region in my opinion, and I do think that it's going to be a pretty significant bounce as well. I mean, bouncing from 150 to 250 is a 60% move, more than 60% move. I mean, that's big. That's really, really big. So yeah, if you're on the 4-hour time frame, I don't really have a strong opinion on this. I just think it's going to be some sideways here. I think it's going to take some time to put in a low. I don't think it's going to like bounce exactly from here. I think it's going to go sideways for all and then bounce. So I wouldn't really be saying too much about the lower term timeframes. Johnny J, we already got that Netflix options. Okay. I see Steven Schickman. There he is. We got Doggy and Ethereum today. Okay, cool. Doggy over here, 15 cents. Same thing as MicroStrategy coming down to that white 200 simple. And I believe on Monday we did say, hey, when on Monday it was exactly at around that 200 simple, I'm like, look, maybe at some point it will break, but I'm just not going to be betting on a break until that actually happens. I'd be betting on a bounce here first. And I think that it is obviously starting to bounce already. I think that it likely bounces more. I think at some point you will see like a 17 or 18 cent tick. But does this help it on the long term? I don't think so, man. I think that this thing is just, I think that it's just generally done. But, you know, again, that is just my opinion. Obviously, if it does break the 200 simple on a weekly closing basis, then I would say, yeah, you know, this thing is going to get sent all the way back down well below 10 cents. But, you know, until that happens, I guess you can still kind of tilt your head and say, oh, well, maybe in like 10 years from now, it might actually be back at around 30 cents. That might be amazing. But personally, I'll just tell you what I've told you this whole time, man. I just think even if it does end up working out, it's a fucking dead investment. It's an opportunity cost massive loss. Just my opinion, man. Anyways, Ethereum, same shit. But let's see. I think this one also probably bouncing. It probably has to bounce. I mean, if Bitcoin's bouncing, right? Yeah, same thing here. Let's go to a daily really quickly though. Yeah, at some point, I do think that this thing will bounce up to like 33 or 3,400 bucks. Does it happen in December? Probably, yeah. Yeah, let's say 3,300, maybe 34 if things get more crazy, but just reconnect with that 5 EMA on the monthly time frame. I think you're kind of done going down for now. You know, if there's going to be more downside, that's probably a 2026 thing, not like a December 2025 thing. But yeah, in the short term, is this thing actually up the juice to squeeze up to 33, 3,400? You got some phantom drives of bullish evidence over here. I think it's possible, yeah. I guess I would say this. I just don't expect lower than your November low before rallying up. So it might pull back a little bit in the short term. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Hard to say. But I just wouldn't be expecting below this low before trying higher. Something like that, man. Hopefully that's helpful. Sam, hey, what's up, Sam? Been a long time, man. Gold for 4 hour and daily. Sure. We looked at gold higher term timeframes earlier. Yeah, daily timeframe, I do look at this as a it is a reaccumulation formation. You do have higher lows here with the same highs. So it is a bullish reaccumulation formation as of right now. I don't see, well, yeah, there actually is not divergence there. Yeah, is this thing really just going to like push to new highs from here? You know, I would still personally kind of take the bullshit route out and say, hey, I need to see it close above this high, the 12th of November high at 42.45, and then I'd declare a breakout. But it does look like it's going to break out. The question to me would be, does it break out from here and just do that, or does it have one more pullback into a higher low at like 4,100 or so, or close to 4,100? Let's say it's still a higher low right there, and then wedge itself into that same sort of ascending triangle and then break out. I don't know. I really don't know on this one. But overall, you kind of have to be bullish on this, I guess. Yeah, the monthly is not bearish. Yeah, crazy strong. Anyways, go with Boris. What's up, man? Good morning to you, sir. You're looking at Link. Yeah, let's look at Link. It's been a while for Link, right? But I think last we looked at it had a similar chart to Doggy Derp coin, right? Yeah, it does. Yeah, coming off the 200 simple on the weekly, so unfortunately not much different. But just like Doggy, I don't think that you're going to be breaking below this level. Now, I think you rally first, $16, maybe even all the way up to 17. Yeah, reconnect with these moving averages here. Yeah, 15, 16, $17, something like that. But it just doesn't really help it long term, man. I mean, not great in my opinion long term. I just think that you do rally from here. And sorry, I should actually raise those rally targets, probably more like 16, 17, 18. Something like that. I mean, these are still higher lows here, so I guess you got that. It's better than Doggy Coin. Yeah. send it up somewhere around here, then come back to it after that. Other than that, I really don't know, man. It's just a lot of these things, I think that they're just dead investments, man, is what I think they are. I think that the opportunity cost of holding and hoping and praying for these things is just, you're getting fucking screwed compared to things that are actually moving, because there's plenty of things moving. They just might not be in cryptos, in the crypto landscape. And in fact, probably most of us shouldn't even be looking in the crypto landscape. But yeah, that's a question that only you can decide. Anyways, Michael Quinn says, can you look at Ribbon? Sure. RIVN. Yeah, I keep on seeing these around. They're super popular, really, really popular in Florida as well. Weekly, monthly. Like I said last time, I actually do think that this is a potential real macro reversal here. It won't be confirmed until you're back above about $18 on a weekly closing basis, but I do think that you are in the process of reversing it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 higher lows, and all major moving averages are switching into a bullish posture. And the only thing that is kind of an issue here is the weekly 200, which is still hanging overhead. But I'm inclined to say that, you might get one more pullback here to 1570, but I do think it's going to be a real upside try after that. And personally, I think that you get somewhere around $22. And if things get really crazy, it'll be a macro reversal, but it's always kind of difficult to call those in advance. But yeah, generally, I think that this actually does have a real shot, like a real opportunity. Got many drives of bullish evidence off these last few lows too. So that is what a potential real macro reversal could look like. Not confirmed just yet, but it's a potential one. It's not just like a down only shitcoin chart. Chris Vela says Aster Daily. I got you, man. Aster Daily. This is Bybit's new shitcoin, right? So I'm sure it's going to be great because, yeah, amazing. Look, man, you're going to have your ebbs and flows on this, obviously, but I don't want to be bullish on shitcoins during this point, during this period. Look, if you're going to have a lower high here on the 4 hour, okay, you're asking for a daily. There's really not much of a daily here, man. It's been around since fucking November, or there's probably actually a longer running chart, right? Maybe this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's even worse when I look at this, man. If it does want to rally more, I'd be looking at 120 to 125, but even that, I think, is some hope. This is the beginning of a down only chart. It's the same shit that you see all across the shitcoin landscape. You see one big up followed by a quick, 50% downside move, and then another big up but a lower high, and then just a down only move from there. And then it's just a game of shorting every lower high that you can find. Yeah, man. I don't know what to tell you other than that. I don't think that you're going to be getting back above this November high at 140 anytime soon. I'll put it that way. But there might be an extension of the current rally. Just I don't think it's going to be anything like super, super impressive, man. Very nice. Very nice. Wait, I think I just skipped. Nope. Okay, we're good. All right. Biff the Bulls looking at Bert. Bert one day. What the fuck is this, sir? What the fuck are you leading me towards right now? Bert coin. Yes. Amazing. Yes. I think I have it right here on my screen. It looks something like this. Look, I think it's a down only chart. You probably already know that too as well, man. My voice hurts too much to actually give this one the true shitcoin treatment. I don't know if it does have a rally though, along with Bitcoin, maybe it gets back up to 4 or 5 cents. But yeah, again, I have to be stating the obvious that whatever the highs over here when we're October, don't think you're ever going to be getting back above that ever again. So whether you get a rally or not, I think it's irrelevant. Let's see. I Sky Ski. Man, it's been so long. I've almost forgotten how to say your name. Are your different BBWP settings based on backtesting data, or your uncanny intuition based off specific scenarios? It's based off of backtesting data. Intuition can only take you so far. Intuition just gives you sort of the idea, but you always have to backtest it. So I guess intuition plays a role in it, just based off of long-term experience. But at the end of the day, I can't just like blindly say, well, it's a fucking 10 period that's going to work well here. I might think that, which leads me to go ahead and test it and then find, oh shit, actually this does work. But yeah, man. Anyways, hold on. It's actually kind of hard to see this. Can you describe when you use each? Okay, so can I describe when I use each of my different settings for BBWP? Yeah, it's actually super simple right now. So let me go back to, on basically everything, on basically everything, I want to be length 7 and then look back 100. But on the long-term volatility versus stochastic momentum setups, that's when I'll go with what was priorly the default, which I think is actually still over here for some reason, which is 13 and 252 length and look back respectively. That just came down to back testing. You can still use those settings across the board as well if you really desire, but I just find that they don't get the moves that I'm personally looking for with the 7 and 100 settings that I traditionally like, because those are a lot more sensitive, and so you get a lot more signals with them, and it kind of helps timing the ebbs and flows of the market. At least that's kind of what my current working theory is. So yeah, it really just depends on what you're trying to do there, and that's going to kind of govern like what's the right thing to use. So hopefully that was helpful, man. Let me see. We got Arms Pride. What's up, man? Do you think we see the high early December around 10 to 15 since we saw the low very early? You know what? Let me go into my spreadsheets here and show you exactly when this is, because actually I don't know if I've actually calculated this data yet. Hopefully I have. Let's see. Yeah, December highs. I do have it. I just didn't do it for 2024. So let's do that really quickly. Let's go back here. Okay. Let's go back to 2024. December was somewhere here. What was the high? Okay, that's January 25. Yeah, December 16th is going to be the highest. So let's do. And was that a negative closing month? Wait, hold on. Was December negative last year? Yeah, it was. Wow. Okay. So that's 16. So that means we put it in this column over here. Boom. All right. Yeah. So interestingly enough, we see the highs of the month. Okay. If we combine everything, then it's around the end of the second week on average. When we bifurcate between positive and negative closing Decembers, on positive closing Decembers, it's closer to the end of the third week of December. And in fact, there's only one outlier here, which is a couple of Decembers ago, which was on the 8th. When December has been negative, we typically seen the high of December actually, funnily enough, like quite late within the month compared to other months' data for negative closing months. This one coming in on average around 11 or a little over 11 days. So I guess you'd kind of be, right about there with that time frame. Around the middle of December, basically, is when you'd be expecting the high. Something like that. Yeah, which kind of aligns with what I'm thinking for timing. I think it's going to be sometime between the 5th and the 19th. So yeah, somewhere in that pocket there. Could make a lot of sense. Arms Private is back again. He says, how likely do you think we go above 100? I think it's very possible here. I mean, look, the 5 EMA and the monthly time frame, which Bitcoin's very likely to reconnect with, maybe not this month, but at latest by January, is hovering right around 99.5. So it's not that far away from 100. But here's the thing, man. I think it's maybe better to speak about what is a price point that I look at it as actually flipping Bitcoin's trend. And that's basically the 107.5 lower high here from the 10th of November. As long as you're below there, it's still a pretty ugly downtrend. If that gets reclaimed, I think that there actually might be some hopium that this cycle is not over. But until that's reclaimed, I personally am going to be running with the assumption that bounces that we're getting are just that, bounces. Anyways, yeah, McDonald's house. What's up, man? Stonk, QCOM, Qualcomm, I believe this is. Let's see. Let me take another sip of this too. There we go, and there we go. Very nice. You're on the daily. Okay. Wow, we're already on the daily. I actually want to zoom out a bit here and just see. Overall, very, very good chart. Overall, very bullish. Overall, probably going to go up from here on the monthly. On the daily, probably looking for this one to trade back up towards 175, maybe even 180. Your last trending high or low is 160. So I'm just bullish as long as you're above there. If it does pull back, in the short term instead, then just be looking for higher lows at around 165. Whether it goes up from here or pulls back first and then goes up, I think it's actually a little more likely to go up from here, to be honest with you. But But that, you know, is a question that's not as important in my opinion as just a general trend. So yeah, let's see, what does a quarterly look like? It's okay. I mean, I don't think it's going to be making new all-time highs anytime soon. I just think it's, you know, generally going up. Let's see what else we got. We got Wayne Batson says, Iron Sir, it's a strong coin, not a shiz coin. I appreciate that. Actually, I've seen it so many times now that I actually do know. Actually am aware. Does look like a massive girthy red dildo impaling all bullish bungles for the last, you know, couple months. So that's not great. Definitely a major high here and a swing high, but it is based on the yellow 21 EMA on the weekly. So does it get a bigger bounce here first before trying some downside? Because that quarterly, assuming the quarterly closes anywhere below 47, especially, I have to be assuming that this thing is going to come down, you know, to $30 at some point in Q1 of this coming year in 2026. And I'd imagine that move probably happens sooner rather than later. So maybe January, but in the short term, does it try to go sideways here and rally a bit? Probably, yeah. I think your downside is probably done for this year. Well, I might be wrong. Hold on. I might be really wrong on this. Hold on. I might be really wrong on this, okay? It actually might come down to 30 in December. Let's come up with an actionable invalidation point, and it's actually super simple on this one. Jesus Christ. Okay, whoa, too many fucking lines. Let's get rid of everything. Go with just this one. 3970 is your Gandalf fucking line right there. It's the one that you shall not pass, and if you do pass it, then big fucking problems, because at that point, $30, maybe even lower than $30. But until that happens, I guess I'd kind of be looking for a bounce attempt here. I'm more inclined to say that things are not going to go down much more in December. But if I'm wrong, you'll know, because it violates that line on a closing basis. And then, yeah, you got some real downside in the short term. Now, long term, I do think it will come down. I do think it will come down to like $30. So whether it happens in December or January, that's like, I do think extremely likely. Real G says, GM, what up, Crown? What's up, man? Gold versus silver. Okay, we can look at that. Not something I look at often, but or really at all. But why not? The monthly is coming down to the 200 simple here. I don't know how much it matters on this thing, to be honest. I really don't. But generally, I look for bounces around that region, you know, especially on a higher term time frame like that. The weekly is an example of what I was speaking about with the price action pivots indicator earlier. You can see this trend line extension here. This was pivoted between this low and this low, and when price hit it on this week's low, it's bouncing a little bit. So there's your sort of intra bar scalp. Again, not a home run trade, and probably does try a little bit more of a bounce from here, but this is objectively ugly. It's just, I don't know how much I care about tentacles on this pairing here, or how much. It's not that how much I care about this, it's like how much do they actually matter. When I go to the quarterly, things become a little bit more obvious. I do think at some point you reach a little bit lower this month to $70.50 for this ratio, but it's not bearish. Like, don't get me wrong here, it's not bearish. It's just one major range, and that is still a higher low. So I think that you're going to be filling this area out here for a while, and then maybe later on it does break out. But yeah, I think right now silver has a chance to shine. Let's go see it, because gold's kind of been, gold has certainly been the big winner as of recent. Now silver is breaking out and following suit, and yeah, I'd say the same thing about silver as I did earlier this week and last month. I'm still bullish on this thing, man. Who brought this up? Was it T Tonight? I think it was T Tonight in the Discord. He's talking about it over here in like December, February, April. I think it was him. Maybe it was someone else. If I'm confusing with someone else, man, I apologize. But I remember looking at him like, silver is fucking good. Like, I should probably buy some. I didn't, because I'm an idiot, but I should have. I very much should have. Anyways. Simon Kim says, McDonald's coffee. Have a good one, brother. I appreciate that, man. I could use some McDonald's coffee. Actually, I actually have not drank coffee for the last 2.5 weeks. I had one of Elsa's Celsius drinks yesterday, though. That one set me on a fucking ride. I don't think I'll be doing that again. Anyways, Vinny, sorry, it is strong. It's very strong. No, don't listen to her. It's fucking strong. Vinny Dean says, Oklo on the weekly. Thanks, man. I appreciate that as well. Sure. I'm guessing this is the actual real stonk. This looks like a major swing high to me as well. Kind of similar to, I think it was iron earlier. You know, at some point, I do think it has more downside to go. At some point, I think you get somewhere between $68 to $60. Does it have a rally before then? That's the real question. It's the same question I had with iron. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I feel very strongly, though, that you will play out that downside move. Do you get a rally before then is the real question. Probably, just because of where we're at, you know, December, Santa rally. Santa's got his big bag of fucking girthy green dildos, I guess. Then maybe it comes down after that. But at some point, yeah, I feel very strongly you will get back down to like at least $56, $57, $58. Just like a big move from where you're at right now. Okay, it's probably gonna be actually that low. It's probably gonna be more like 60 to 65, but it's still a big move. I mean, that's, Jesus, like almost a 30% move. Anyways, and you're asking about a weekly. Yeah, at some point down around here. Mid-ish 60s, let's say. Lutfi is back. What's up, Lutfi? Could you check Bcash? I can. Man, you always love to just look at these absolute dog shit shit coins, don't you? But Bcash is rallying, which is also not a good sign. It's one of the four horsemen in crypto. But yeah, at least this time it actually is rallying, and actually would be bullish on this. I actually do think it's going to rally back up to like 680, 690, maybe even $700. This is an uptrend right now, which is actually better than Bitcoin, which is actually quite a surprise. Shit, Lutfi, I think if there ever was a time for this thing, this is it. This is it. If it can close this month out above like 650, this thing is going to probably go for like a pretty major run. Surprising. I don't know. Am I hearing myself correctly? Like, am I actually bullish on Bcash? Probably shouldn't be. But that is objectively bullish right here. That is a higher low. Yeah, if there ever was a chance, this is it. Should test like 650. Can it close above 650? If it can, I mean, this is going to go for a big run. 800 plus at that point. Wow. Pretty impressive, actually, Lutfi. I have to say. Wasn't expecting that. Not because it's you, but because it's fucking Bcash, you know? Bcash, like, I came in this market in 2017. You know, I've seen Bcash do this. It's usually quite bad. Gallus Bosch is back. He's looking at Solana, 175 or too greedy. Let's see. I haven't looked at Solana in feels like so long. Yeah, 140 right now. So that is a pretty big ask. I think 160 is going to be quite likely. 170 is pushing it, or 175 more accurately, is kind of pushing it in my opinion. I do think 160 is like very, very likely at some point, you know, something like that. If you're going to 175, I just don't think you're stopping there, man. That's the problem with that move. If you're going to 175, I think you're actually bullish at that point, or getting very close to being bullish. I mean, shit. I'm looking for something that's super obvious here. The obvious thing is that it's bouncing off of 125, but we already knew that. We've already called that out like a month ago. 160 is where I'd be looking for as like a highly, highly, highly probable bounce target. What does a quarterly look like? Yeah, 175 on a quarterly, I just think that that's unlikely, man. I do think that that's unlikely. I still have to be bearish on this thing based off the quarterly. Or, well, we'd want to see the quarterly close below last quarter's low, which is 145, or at least below that 5 EMA, which is 158. Yeah, I personally think that is, I think it's a little bit too high, at least for like a, you know, a very likely move. I mean, would I like to be short from there? Sure. Just, I'm not so confident I'm going to get that. But this is one that I want to check up on later, man, because if it does start to get to those numbers, it can change very quickly. And like I said, if it gets above 170, I'm starting to think bullish, man, not bearish. But I'd want to come back to this one later. What's up, Tom Cran? I just saw you out of the side of my eye. Fuck, feel bad. I didn't recognize you early, man. Hope all is well, man. What is it? ABTC. Wait, what? ABTC? What the fuck is this? Oh, God. American Bitcoin Corporation? Well, oh, fucking hell, man. This is what's wrong with crypto. Like, this is why people hate crypto. It's got America in the name, and then it just goes down only. Yeah, fucking great, man. Fucking great advertisement. Jesus, man. Like, who owns this thing? Who owns this thing is a real question. Crypto Shard says, Ethereum Bitcoin, the pairing daily just got back from doctor. Yep, redacted. Oh shit. Yeah, man. There's many such cases of this I've heard. My doctor even said that I might be semi-retarded as well. But the good thing is, like, I've always thought in the past, like, what if I actually am retarded and everyone's just being nice to me? I've actually. Okay. Well. Thanks for letting me know now, like, we're married. Now you're telling me you're a fucking retard? Well, anyways, okay. I've always thought that I was, like, I might be retarded, you know, especially in high school for some reason. I would always, like, daydream and think, okay, is everyone just being nice to me and I'm actually a moron? Or am I actually retarded? Or is people just being nice? Because people would be, like, overly nice sometimes. I'm like, people usually aren't this nice. What's going on here? Do I have, like, an issue? Like, do I look some type of way? And honestly, that really bothered me for like 2 years. And I'm not going to lie about that. Like, it was very, very bothersome. Anyways, Ethereum, Bitcoin, you wanted the daily specifically. I think Ethereum actually does rally versus Bitcoin here a little bit. I'd only be bearish. It's a super easy bearish call, but only if you come back down below yesterday's low and close below there. Until then, I'm looking for this thing to rally a little bit, probably back to like 3.5, maybe 3.6 million Satoshis, something like that, man. I was wrong. Didn't last 6 months. Close, but no cigar. Sorry. If I had to call, I actually do think that it tries a little bit more on this rally. You know, the real question to me on Ethereum, Bitcoin is the higher term timeframes here, because I could easily see one more run at these highs at like 4.25 million. It'd still be bearish, but I do think that it's kind of likely you might get one more shot there and then reject and then come down. Because straight down from here just seems too easy to me. You know, one more rally back around this region here and then come down if it's going to come down. You know, it's been digging into this 55 EMA on the 5-day for the last, about a month and a half. So yeah, I'm kind of inclined to say it's going to try a bounce from here. Might get back around here, to be honest with you, man, and then come down. But what does a quarterly look like? Yes, we already saw. Okay, let's go to a 2-month. I know you didn't ask about these time frames. I just want to see for myself. Yeah, still ugly. What about a yearly? Yeah, very ugly on the yearly. Like, atrocious. Jesus, man. Anyways, one more sippy sip. Felix Morin says, hey, Crown, is there any news about MetaSignal's Discord and stuff? Oh, yeah, you've probably been out of the loop a little bit, but MetaSignals is there. They are all good to go now. I believe their Discord is completely, fully functional. Elsa, can you confirm? What? MetaSignal's Discord good? Yes. Yeah. Everything's good over there now. My fucking just swallowed some air. Everything's good over there right now. The signals that they were firing off, like, those were never changed. Those were never affected. Fucking water went down some of the wrong throat there. Okay, Elsa was just telling me that they took a little bit of a break on the Discord to make sure that, like, everything's, you know, super, super solid underneath. And I did learn what actually went on there. It's a pretty freak accident, to be honest, or it's not even an accident. Like, it was, they don't want to call it a hack, but it was if you want to be super, like, you know, fucking on the nose with the actual name, I guess it would be a social engineering type thing. It was pretty crazy. So they actually weren't hacked. A provider that they work with was hacked. And then that provider who was facilitating the access into their Discord through their NFT ownership verification, that service was hacked. And because that service had powers in their Discord, they were able to carry out, you know, some pretty nasty things. But they never actually were in control of the Discord. Like, the admin of the Discord never changed or anything like that. But they were just able to get access through that venue. It might have been an inside job. I don't know. I like my personal opinion is that it, you know, sounds like it probably was, not with MetaStones, but with that service that was doing the NFT verification, because this apparently has happened before with that same service. So maybe it was an inside job. Maybe it's just like fucking they're incompetent. But yeah, you know, it has happened with them before. So I think, at least from what I understand right now, MetaSignals is potentially, or I think they are actually getting ready to go the legal route versus that third-party service and say, hey, like, you cause our users losses through this, so you owe us money. I mean, at least it makes sense to me, because they are actually located in California, which is probably the worst place to be if you're going to be doing anything fucking foul, right? Yeah, and Elsa's just telling me their Discord has a note that if you are affected, to reach out to them, and they can, and they are actively working on a solution. So yeah, like I said, I know the founder of MetaSignals. He's a good guy. He's a solid guy, and I trust what he says. But yeah, can you automate MetaSignals trades? Do they have trade automation already? Copy trades?
I think it's working.
The copy trades are working, but if you mean trade automation, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. Yeah. Yeah, it's all in the Discord. The Discord is okay. It is okay, and it's been okay for a while now too. What I would say, and also what I want to reiterate, is that all of the signals that they've been spitting out on the Discord, if you were still in there, those are all still working as intended. Like, nothing's changed on that. It's just some asshole got basically access to like a higher moderator type account and was able to make announcements, you know, when they shouldn't have, and they basically just like flushed out a bunch of announcements that were, you know, scam links, more or less, like drainer links. Anyways, moving on, we got Appmunos. It's kind of hard for me to see, man. It's a little bit small on my screen. Appmunos. He says, "Can you take a look at Apple Daily?" Sure. Yeah, some real stonk action. AAPL on NAS, very fucking bullish. That's a yearly though. Let's see, you're on a daily. It is literally breaking a new all-time highs, maybe even today. Yeah, it did make new highs today. Look, when I see a new all-time high breakout, it's just an uptrend, man. Just be bullish, be long. Yes, you're going to get your pullbacks. You might even get a pullback in the short term. There is some potential for bearish divergence here if it does reverse from this exact point, meaning that you'd have to see a closure below about 283. And then, yeah, I would be looking for a pullback back down to like 276. But it's just a game of higher low watch right now. This is a breakout on new all-time highs on a very, 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 very strong asset. Now, here's the thing. At some point, there very likely or almost undoubtedly will be a reconnect with that red 5 EMA here, which is all the way down at 265. So if you do get a pullback either later this month or in 2026, just have that number in the back of your mind. But overall, that's kind of where I'd be expecting on a higher low, because this thing is, I mean, dare I say, bullish, crazy idea, right? Just a straight up fucking only chart, like a real up only chart. What else we got? Man, a lot of super chats today. Great White Hype says DFDV. Yeah, someone pointed this one out a long time ago, and I put it on my watch list for a while, and then I got rid of it because, yeah, it's this. Really bad, man. Really, really bad. This is the chart of a shit coin. I'm curious what CEP is doing as well. This is kind of a similar one. So your question specifically is, where would be a good entry for a relief rally? Okay, I feel like, again, I'm not your dad here, man, but I do feel like it's important to state, look, you're playing against a trend here. You might get run over if you do this. It's a lot easier to just play with the trend. But if I had to pick out a point for a potential relief rally, I'd want to see it at about 460, somewhere down around here. Test that. It's also a price action pivot, a trend line extension as well, then bounce. But is that even a bounce worth playing? I really don't know, man. You know, this thing looks quite ugly. What about this thing? This thing also got quite popular at the same time. You know, it's the same exact chart, man. This one probably better for a bounce play, to be honest. It's already gone for the full retrace. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit indeed. Anyways, we got Jay Pimmon. He's saying, GM, what's up, man? Riot stock is $24 likely this month. I don't know. Let's look at it. It's either going to be really high or really low. No, I don't think so, man. I don't even think 24 is like likely in the near future. If anything, this is a lower high and getting ready for some downside, man. No, I don't think so. No. I do not believe so, sir. Chris Fellis is Tau Daily Weekly. Last we looked at it was quite bearish. Let's see if it's still bearish on the higher term timeframes. Maybe not the lower term timeframes, but yeah, higher term timeframes still ugly as fuck. Lower term timeframes probably good for a bounce attempt here. Maybe back up to like 320 or maybe even as much as like 340, but overall pretty ugly. I know that there's more of a chart than this as well, like before someone yells at me, but it only gets worse, honestly, the further out you go. But yeah, I do think that that it does attempt a little bit of a bounce here. You know, tentatively, maybe all the way back to like 320 or maybe even 350 if things get really crazy. But overall, I think this is a down only chart setting in. Yeah, monthly is very ugly. So reconnect with like 320 to 330, then down. Don't like it. Really don't like it. Again, for me, it was very easy to get very bearish on this thing on November, for like almost the first day of November, when that thing came down almost immediately after rejecting the breakout pivot. Like, that's not a good sign when you reject a breakout pivot like that, and things are very, very likely to run the other way. So yeah. Anyways, how deep into the stream are we now? Oh, only an hour and 20 minutes. All right, I'll read some of the other. P. Guji, he likes it. All good, man. All good. DFDV holds like 22 million Solana. It's way under NAV, like 6.5. Yeah, if it's a fundamental play for you, then go for it. But again, I mean, how long has it been under that and still been going down? I think that kind of, illustrates my point. It's like, it's just difficult, man, even when the fundamentals don't make sense. I mean, a shit chart just looks like a shit chart, right? The truth says, obviously, Tesla chart is overall bullish and on lower time frames bullish and going to all-time high probably along with indices. But if you're holding super long, you will probably get way better prices in about a year. I don't know. Let's see. Where's my Tesla? So you're basically expecting like a major pullback within the next 12 months. I would imagine you're probably looking at like 330, if that's making sense to you. I guess it's possible, yeah, at some point in 2026. Possible, yeah. Just to reconnect with the yearly 5 EMA. That does happen almost every year, so not anything super crazy if that would happen. Here's Bitcoin's yearly, by the way. Like, it's red. It's actually red. Let's see. Okay. Wait, what are we, what? I feel like people are having a bunch of arguments between themselves, and I'm just like reading random comments. I'm like, what the fuck did that even mean? Crown, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. Isn't that insane? That's right, man. And there's more than 21 million people in the world. They can't all have one. What does that mean? I don't know if it means anything. Circle? Yeah, we can look at Circle. What did you say, Elsa?
It means that you're gay.
Oh, it means that I'm gay. Okay. Well, we already knew that, so tell me something new. Circle? Yeah, we looked at it on Monday and I said, hey, retesting that prior low, probably gonna bounce. Yeah, and I think it bounces a little bit more, maybe like to $90, but I think you're going to be stuck kind of trading between like 90 and 70 for a while, and then it tries a bigger bounce later on. But yeah, I'm not really seeing anything indicative of like a macro low here just yet. Not yet, man. What would it take for Bitcoin to reverse the MACD to cross back to the upside like the S&P did during the summer? Actually, we can backwards engineer that exact price point using Caretaker's not Caretaker's RSI, but Caretaker's MACD reverse, and that would be $117,900 by the end of December. That is, by the way. Yep, Bitcoin burst investment of 2025. Well, except for all the other shitcoins, but yeah, yeah. Certainly not great this year, but maybe that's the end of your 4-year cycle. Who knows? No suit for you. Yeah, a little bit of that too. LP Philosopher says XMR BTC. Sure. We looked at XMR last stream and it was actually really good. So I'm curious to see what it looks like today. Feel like, okay, do we really have to look at the Bitcoin pair? And I kind of want to look at well, fuck it. We'll just look at this one. This is a really good place for this thing to reverse right here. Like, look, if I'm playing the pairing, this is my absolute perfect area to be building a short position. But let's see what it looks like versus. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be going down versus the dollar, by the way. That's not what that means, because versus the dollar, this is actually bullish. So if I'm looking at XMR versus dollar, I'm bullish. I'm looking at XMR versus Bitcoin, I'm bearish. Which is actually kind of a good sign for Bitcoin, right? Let's see. All right, I'll just scroll back a little bit more here, see what else we got. Crown, have you looked into the auto deleveraging event that took place on October 10th with Wintermule and Binance and likely many more liquidity providers? I haven't, but I don't really care to look into that stuff because you'll never know the truth anyways. You'll never know the truth. And it's just like, if I really want to go super nerdy with it and try to like be Detective Crown and figure it out, you know, go gadget type shit, it would be fun, but I don't think we're not going to have the full picture anyway. So it's like, it's just not valuable in my opinion. I don't think we'll know. I don't think we'll actually know. Ham City says, Celestia on the daily. Then the real PG says, Ham City, don't waste our fucking time. Short it to zero. Yeah, I mean, without even looking at it, I'm going to guess that's probably very accurate. Let's see. This one was TIA, right? Yeah. Let's see what some random garbage shitcoin did during this cycle. I'm guessing it's definitely going up, right? Holy shit, I'm so surprised. Color me fucking rainbows, because I'm gay as fucking gay for TA, and now I'm taking my dumps, and that's a fucking dump chart. There's your fucking worst chart of the day award. It's the worst chart of the day award, and here's what happens on the worst chart of the day award. We give it the biggest, the baddest, the most fucking reddest of red buttons, and I'm dropping it right now. Drop that goddamn my screen, you fuck. Get off my screen, you fucking get off my screen, you fuck. And we're still dumping, and I'm still dumping. Where's my dump? There's my dump. Good dump. Very good dump. Yeah, man, we were living in Tampa for a while. I love Tampa. We love Florida. It's great. It's great, man. I mean, I just genuinely wonder what someone like that is thinking on a chart like this. Like, assuming they're being for real. I'm not even like trying to downwards talk them or talk shit or anything like this. Just like, what's going through your head? You know, what's going through your head? What, like, in what world are you expecting an analyst to? Well, okay, like I said, there's a big market for just up only analysts on shit coins. It really truly amazes me that they're like some of the biggest creators in all of crypto are up only shitcoin cheerleaders who tell you that they're going up every fucking day. And it blows my mind that like people either don't catch on or they just want the good feelings from it. I really don't understand it. I guess it must be that. It must be that people just want to hear something that makes them feel good, despite the overwhelming evidence that it's just not. It's just bad. Crown, do you dance? Poorly. Very poorly. What made you choose Tampa? Do you also like Fort Lauderdale? I've never been to Fort Lauderdale, but it looks really, really nice. It's just I've heard a lot of bad things about it, that it's super crowded. And, you know, I want my quiet space, man. I want my quiet space. I want nice and relaxation. I want no sounds. I want nice suburban lifestyle. I know it's crazy, man, but it's actually quite nice. Me and my wife are thinking Florida next year. Yeah, check it out, man. Like I said, I love Tampa. Like, we could go back to Tampa any day. I love it, man. I fucking love it. Copium is one hell of a drug. Yeah, got any more of that copium? A lot of the sorry, I'm reading the conversation again. Ethereum, Bitcoin looking like a breakout too. No, wait, what? Hold on. No, unless you're on like an hourly time frame chart, which you probably are. Even that's a little bit questionable, but yeah, I kind of see it right there. I don't know about a weekly though. You got a long ways to go for a breakout, sir. I lived in Fort Myers and Fort Lauderdale. A lot of forts over there. A lot of fucking forts. Why did we leave Florida? Well, maybe we haven't left for forever, sir. But yeah, like I said, I love Florida, man. It's great. It's great. Fort Lauderdale. It's a college town, really? What college is there? What college is there? Starknet, STRK. Oh, okay. That's very confusing. It has the same ticker as one of the MicroStrategy things. Starknet. Oh, it's a fucking crypto shitcoin. Great. Amazing. Yeah. All right. Just fucking dump on it. Okay. You already know. Jesus Christ, man. Is this one worse or is TIA worse? Celestia might be worse, but this one's also pretty bad. Who's going to win the worst chart of the day award? Who knows? Find out next time on fucking Dragon Ball Z. They might just want to bounce target on a chart that's shit town downtown. Short-term scalps can be nice. Yeah, but you're just trying to pick pennies up on a fucking railroad track at that point, man. You're gonna get run over doing that. Like, try playing a bounce on Bitcoin, not on fucking some random shitcoin that can dump 50% in like 5 minutes. It's insane. You're gonna lose your account that way. See, this is also what I think a lot of like newer people get wrong is, you know, they look for plays like that thinking that you're going to make money really, really fast, but they don't recognize the real risk that is significantly higher and significantly more likely to play out than whatever the fuck, you know, fantasy is going on in their mind. John T says, are alt season chances done since Bitcoin under 50-week simple moving average 3 times? I don't know if that's why they're done. Were altcoins ever really a thing this cycle? I mean, it was in 2024 with memes. That's about as good as you got. Were they everything? I don't know, man. You know, one of the things I've been very consistent on since I began this channel is that in general, all shit coins given enough time will be down only. 99% of them will be down only charts just like this. So yes, some of them will be wildly successful. What are they? I don't fucking know. And it's not my problem, or it's not necessarily that's not my problem. But if I see a chart that looks like it, I will call it out. This is not one of them, and this is what almost everything looks like. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. Circle, dip, or rip. I think it's in a bounce region. I just don't think it's a reversal region. Like for like a macro uptrend, I just think it's a bounce. Something like that. Never again above 100,000. Some say. I don't know, but I wouldn't say that. Like, I am a long-term believer in Bitcoin. Even if this is the end of the cycle, I do think at some point Bitcoin would charge back up above 100,000 bucks. So yeah. Asty's looking for a near-term bounce on Duo stock. Oh boy, what is this? Is this Duolingo? No, it's Fanged. Fanged? Yeah, totally. Big bounce incoming. The biggest bounce and the biggest reversal. That's right, Asty. After 6 years of just straight fucking down only, this is the moment. This is the time. I'm telling you, this is the final short squeeze or the final squeeze. Doesn't make sense when they say that as well. I love it when these fucking influencers talk about a short squeeze on a fucking down only chart. You can't squeeze shorts in a downtrend. Holy shit. This is like week one knowledge of learning trading. It just blows my mind. Yet there's millions parroting out there right now at this moment. Guys, the short squeeze is coming. The short squeeze is coming, bro. I'm going to get rich. Okay. Good luck with that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know about that, Asti. The problem with it is that it can dump out of nowhere, and it's more likely to dump out of nowhere. And then, yes, every once in a while it has a 2-week pump out of nowhere. Good luck guessing when that happens, though. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. Duolingo probably is a better bet if it's probably not IPO though. Yeah, it's a long squeeze if anything. Oh, it was Duolingo. Oh, is it really IPO? Holy shit, it's IPO. No fucking way. No fucking way. Yeah, this one's a lot more likely to bounce. You know, I think a good bounce target is just going to be drawn back up to that 200 simple here on the weekly. So like 204, 205 region is a pretty good bet as like a minimum bounce target, something like that. Do you think that the AI bubble will pop in 2026? If it does, will it destroy crypto market with it? Don't know and don't know. I don't know and I don't care. To be honest, I will look at look in order to be bearish on Bitcoin, all you need to do is just look at the Bitcoin chart. In order to be bearish on AI stocks, you just need to look at the AI stock, and if it's showing bearish signals, be bearish. That's all I have to say about that, man. Like, give me a name of a ticker that's, you know, an AI stock. We can look at it. Like, I don't know, I guess Nvidia maybe, or it's not even really an AI stock. It just kind of makes the shit with it. Is this a bearish chart right now? Not necessarily. Well, it probably does have some downside in 2026. But I would take things on a chart by chart basis. You can't just make a blanket statement with everything. Yeah, the market is more correlated than it is not, especially the technology sector. But still, in my experience, it's much better to just focus on whatever asset you want instead of just saying, "Oh, the AI bubble's popping. I better be short crypto." It's like, okay, just watch crypto then. Like, just watch Bitcoin. It's a lot easier, and it's going to be a lot more relevant as well. Shit, now I'm getting HIV advertisements. Holy shit. Well,
Maybe you need
well, maybe it's a sign, sir. Then where the hell is my money safe, says the real PG. Where will your money be safe? Probably. Okay, so I'm doing a video on this. So here's the thing. When things actually do crash, when bubbles do pop, generally, almost everything does come down. Okay, there's maybe like a few things that do go up, but the real skill is not like trying to buy the thing that is going to go up during that time. It's actually waiting for the bubble to pop and then buying the strongest ones at the low, because those ones rebound the hardest and actually end up making the most gains overall. That's where you're going to make the most money doing that. So you don't need to be perfect with it. You don't even need to find the best asset. You just need to find the best bouncer after that. That's the one that usually has long-term, livelihood. Google ads crowns knows what you need. Exactly. Yeah, man. It's been giving me a lot of dildo riser ones too recently. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what that's all about. Blanco says Kratos. Yeah. So this is a stock that I do own myself. Again, full disclosure. I have sold some a little bit above $100, not at the exact high, but I did sell a little bit above $100. I do think that this is a high for a long time right here, man. I do think that this is a high right here for a long time. Any time frame I look at, I don't think it's going to be good. But at some point in the Q1 of 2026, so between January and March, I do think you will get another try at $90. But, is this going to be a down only chart long term? It might be. It might very well be. This is kind of a popcorn rally right here. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is, currently, I think you more or less have the low end. Maybe it has one more shot down to like $62. It's not much lower than the current low. And then in Q1 of this year, at some point, it should rally back up to like 90. And that's going to be the real question. Can it live above 90 or does it get rejected at 90? If it gets rejected, real problems. And to be honest, I think that is a little bit more likely. If it can reclaim, then potentially we have like a real runaway rally going on. But yeah, I literally DCA my life into Bitcoin, or as soon as I get my money, just stack. Look, that's honestly not a bad strategy. Myself and Pesto have crunched the numbers, and weekly DCA for Bitcoin is an incredibly difficult strategy to beat. We can beat it. There are ways to beat it, but it's honestly a very good strategy. If you don't want to put that much effort into things, and if you want the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule right there, that would be just weekly DCA, little bit amount every week. And when you see bigger dumps, DCA a little bit more during those weeks. That's honest to God, some of the best long-term investment advice that I have come to learn with Bitcoin after looking at the numbers, after fucking trying many different strategies, some very sophisticated strategies as well. Honestly, that is quite literally going to outperform almost anything else over a long period of time. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How many mafioso NFTs do you own? Oh, I only own one because I only need one. But if you actually do own more, I think you can get more of their private sale token allocation, something like that. Yeah, there are benefits also saying right now. Cars, Cryptos, and Conspiracy says GM stock. Hell yeah, man. Let's look at some GMC, baby. Some giant man cock. Oh God, I love my truck. And I love my giant man cock. Bullish as fuck, man. Holy shit, I should buy this. Bullish.
A new penis?
I should also buy a new penis. Thank you for that, Elsa. That's amazing. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, great knowledge. Honestly, really good. Broke out above your January 2022 high a couple months ago, and it's just been continuing ever since. I think this thing is like on a runaway breakout right now. I think at some point you're going to hit this trend line at $87. I'm gonna make a note to myself. I should probably buy this thing. Good old American steel. Very, very nice. Anyways, I think we should probably start to end this stream somewhat soonish. Yeah. Let's see. Div X-Ray says, please, man, answer this. Lol. Can you look at the 2-week stochastic RSI? I don't look at stochastic RSI because it's absolutely the worst indicator I've ever seen ever. And I think it's absolutely retarded to use. Yeah. I'm not going to do that, man. I would suggest rethinking your life. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. I do think it's terrible. I think it's an absolute dog shit indicator. And I just do not understand why people use it, despite all the overwhelming evidence that it is terrible at doing what it purports itself to do. It's just awful track record. I don't understand the obsession with it. Why do people use that shit? It's terrible, awful, god awful, the worst. Does that mean my Chevy is going up in value then? I don't know if it works that way. I would hope it works that way, but I don't know if it goes up that way. A big bad GMC, my man, a big bad GMC. All right, guys. All right. I think that is where we're going to end things today. What's up, Ando Poncho? I see you over there, man. Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well. Yeah, I think we'll end things right there. Myself and Elsa have a quick meeting to get to relatively soon. But yeah, I'm glad that the stream actually worked out today. Luckily, tomorrow we will be getting some new Cox internet, fiber, so it should be pretty good. And we don't have these issues ever again, and we can start to do some more cool stuff with some better internet connections. But other than that, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for joining in as always. Been an absolute pleasure as always. And I'll be back on with another live stream on Friday, of course, and then another just regular video upload tomorrow on Thursday. Other than that,